is this person?
Anyway, I did want to ask if the recording was on because I wanted to sort of state officially that Trans, if you end up listening to this and you just wanted for Gree and Jeff would have an incredibly awkward conversation over porn, well done, you bastard.
Hey Trends, if you're listening to this, anthrax.
I think you have.
Anthrax is so last generation.
I think you technically have to edit out his name every time. It's now the 15th day since the events bringing a group of Sith and a group of Republic members together to survive the strange new Leviathan lurking on the horizon. And they're in the hyperlane back to Suliana after the planetary governor Zavala Zul'Zorander called in the first of many debts that he wishes to eventually collect on during the Kibbella affair to the aid of a planet called Denebia. It is a primary food supplier to the Senex and Juvex sector, and it was apparently blockaded by a heavily armed pirate ship with unknown forces backing it. The more battle-hardened elements of the combined crews, especially those above the glaive of the Ecclesia, relished a chance to ruin the delicate polish on their idle armaments. And the pirates proved no match for the lightning assault from the glaive. Its escort fighters blasted and the enemy ship disabled. The Sarlacc tier breached the Mobcat model freighter, which was modified into a makeshift carrier. They faced a near-fanatical humanoid crew and some sort of old combat droid model. And the melee eventually ended when Lieutenant Commander Gree Hawkins sliced the ship systems and managed to incapacitate the leader with the droids that were surrounding him as guards on the bridge. An impromptu interrogation and sudden realization struck them just as a glaive reported a new assailant. A familiar face of sorts was connected to the vessel somehow, just as the Terminus destroyer was engaging with what appeared to be a space station, much like the Emperor of Lahan's construction. There's a period of radio silence before, thankfully, the victorious cheers aboard the glaive were reported to Lady Assassin as well as her collected confidants. Locked into a course back to Suliana, expected to make a report in person. The Kibbella affair intend to crack open the shell of this mystery further. And that brings us over to the Sarlacc tier itself. So if I activate it, then does that bring everyone?
Yep,
Slowly.
but we do not have token visibility, so you'll need to undo that checkbox.
Hmm.
It's set on by default. And... There we go.
We in.
Yeah, and just imagine that the, 50 different tokens are actually on the ship. Alright, I just realized I forgot the captain, who is probably in the brig right now.
The mouthy
and the
lout.
game- Yes. The mouthy lout of the pearly crate, Captain Gar Havar.
He got the suck.
He did. He was very worse for wear. If I can wait, game paused. Game paused.
Base bar is the pause and pause.
There we go. And if you'd all please roll Destiny. The prompt is over in the chat log. Press the button.
Well done, Gree.
Wow.
And no
Huh.
one else.
Did I punch something very quickly so I can activate crit and get Destiny back to us?
Hmm.
Random minion, come up here. It's for the greater good.
It's okay.
No.
Someday I'll be considered a paragon, I hope.
Someday.
Someday.
Today is not that day.
No, it is not.
To be fair, I think it took about maybe 16 missions before Zen was considered paragony enough.
Oh,
All
big
right.
good governor.
So everyone is milling about and securing things, and then currently in the hold. What are you doing as you guys are nearing Suliana once more? Hopefully not for the 3-day shore leave you had, or was it a week? I don't remember. Oh,
We basically took out the captain and left with him while the rest of our people cleaned up the ship. And yeah, I think he was supposed to be in the hold on not Suliana. Um,
on the tier.
no, he was on our base on the pirate world.
Oh, that's something that I completely forgot.
I
Slight
I,
retcon.
I listened to the last episode earlier
Yes,
today at like
and
2 times speed just to remember what was going on. So yeah, he's back on the pirate world hold unless we brought him with us, which is possible.
so
We could have brought him with
slight
us to
retcon.
Suliana.
Slight retcon from that, because that session was reasons. Slight retcon is the captain is still with you. You're sending the mobcat that you captured onwards, and the glaives in tow behind you guys. Beyond that, it's also that the governor wants to talk to you guys in person. And on top of that, let's try and flip a destiny point. Drag, you're mainly the one that notices, but you see Sassen, there's a communicator, your communicator flashes. She's curious because the only time that that would happen is if someone from the glaive would probably be reporting to her, and Gree in the periphery of your vision, you're not even getting a notification. She listens to the message, turns to Drag, and says, I'll be in the conference room. If you don't mind, I'd like the privacy to try and handle this first.
Sure, why not? Drag loosens from a confrontational to a less confrontational stance. It's not like you can change your mind on it anyways.
And she smiles at that before going up to. Remember correctly, this is how. Bing, 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 and Avali is not. No! Yes, she takes a little spacewalk. And there we are. Unceremoniously, the captain is chucked in one of the beds. A little worse for wear. He could probably use a little bit of a medical attention.
Hmm. Like, Gree will
Um,
ask Lady Session if treating him is ideal. Like, basically, giving the idea is like, Gree doesn't like the fellow and would prefer that if he's not directly in danger of dying, to not be treated, but will follow Lady Sessions' orders.
She would reply to examine him and see if seeing if you can glean any more information regarding the Ember.
All right, Green goes off to stabilize the fellow, if not already.
Of one, yeah, I think he's at threshold. Let me check.
Why can't I move my token?
Excuse me.
Here, you can delete the old one.
Which one's the old one?
The one that's hanging out by himself.
Antisocial.
Antisocial token.
You guys all able to move your things?
Yes.
Okay, so Gree is planning to go chat with the captain.
I'll also stand behind Gree just to make sure the interrogation process is
Yeah, about to
correct.
and Ree will genuinely sort out someone to accompany her, simply because she knows that if
I'll
the
do it.
pirate makes a fight of it, that'll be a concern.
I'll come.
Gree, do you need any more assistance, or do you and the captain seem to have this handled?
If you'd like to come along, I would certainly appreciate the company.
Jethro nods and follows.
All right, then Gree goes off and checks on the captain. Is that the one on number 3?
Yeah, that's Lieutenant Adun, who buzzes you in, and that would be this guy over here. Assuming you guys can see him.
Yep. It's been a while. I forgot Adun's name for a second. Adun's name. Like, yes, the Chiss interrogator. I don't remember his name.
Yes.
So, Gree.
Mhm.
What's your strategy here?
Well, for the moment, I just plan to simply treat and make sure they're stable. Patients that are generally in such a state that the captain would be at the moment are generally not overtly lucid. They might simply talk of their own provocation. Did you have a particular idea that you wish to bring forth?
Just to listen.
And here I thought you were about to suggest good constable, bad constable.
You know, I didn't think about that. But that's too predictable and obvious. You gotta, mix it up a little. Besides, people spill secrets all the time. All you have to do is listen. Look squarely at Gree, with a little bit of a smile.
Gree simply smiles back, being the intelligence officer on this ship. It's I've never heard of that idea before. Thanks for the tip. Anyway, but she covers herself well and simply nods, smiles, and with company goes in to check on this captain.
And would you like to make a I'm in D&D world right now.
Now there is a perception skill, unless you
Yeah.
mean vigilance. Am I expecting it or not?
If you'd like,
am I
to
actively
inspect
checking the
him-
body, or am I unexpected ambush type flavor?
If you'd like to inspect him from a distance, then please roll me 2 purple perception.
Okay. Two purple perception. Nope, just a lot of advantage. Not a single success, not a single failure.
Um,
I admire
okay.
something nice.
He looks proud, despite the fact that he's sort of drooling from the side of one of his side of his face, and he rather disheveled. And with a 2 advantage, you have any ideas? Just going in.
Gree's observation would be partly to check if he's like awake enough to attempt an ambush of types, but otherwise would be checking to see his current like physical state. Can he move? Does he have any weapons on him? Anything hidden, possibly?
Um,
In short, she's treating this as a combat situation for the moment.
okay. How about this? Going into the situation, you have a boost die to any conversational checks because you're on guard and you're ready.
Oh, did I forget that?
What happened?
Just trying to remember. I've got an ability called Heightened Awareness that adds boost die to perception and vigilance checks, and engaged allies get 2 boost dice.
Okay, I can roll 2 boost dice.
Yes, you should have 2 boost dice from Heightened Awareness.
How do I roll just 2 boost dice then?
The
I would
little
click on the dice near public roll towards the
Right.
bottom of the chat,
yeah, right at the bottom of the chat.
and then select 2 boost die and roll.
Um,
And you'll see in the finalizer roll, you should see 2 boost die.
There's a little
+2 boost dice. Yay! Okay,
Nice.
no, doing fantastic. 2 successes and 2 advantages. That really helped in a pinch.
Okay.
So yeah, how does Jethro help in all this? Because that's rad. Let's start with that.
I think there's a sense of, because he's untrained in the Force, there is a unnatural or an unconscious like exuding of this, and it's affecting the people around him to be more vigilant. Just there's almost a sense of everyone around him is just a little bit more in tune with their surroundings, but he doesn't know he's doing it.
So you're saying that he's kind of like a raw nerve for the Force that is both able to assist his allies, but is still a beacon.
Sure. Play that how
Good
you
to
will.
know.
He is not well trained. I mean, that was
Yep.
the whole suppress thing. Was he didn't know what he was doing. He just wanted the ghost gone.
Piece of ghost.
Gary.
Be gone, Spoopy.
I love that line from that movie, Knox.
Piece of.
Okay, so rolling it back a little bit for perception, it looks like this person is strong, and if there was any other situation, and if he actually had a knife of some sort, he would be a fearsome opponent. However, you also just saw the lady assassin drain out his essence out here. Drained his stamina.
Life force.
Yes, life force, and then put only a little bit of it back in. And it is very apparent that he is fighting to stay awake. On top of already having a lot of other wounds.
Is he
So-
bound? Did we bind him, or is he just in the cell?
He has binders.
Okay.
To be fair, if there wasn't, Gree would probably consider doing that. Alright, Gree basically just... Sorry, just thinking, so from the successes, we could tell that, like, he seems like he wants to fight? Is that the gist?
The successes are that he is very worse for wear, and if he did try fighting, it would not go well for him.
Fair enough. And
So as
yeah, we'll
far
just
as
do
the
what we
adva-
did for the other advantage and just have 2 boost dice to conversational.
Okay.
Unless you have a particular flavor you recommend.
Should be good.
Okay. Then we'll go with that. Gree doesn't open the door yet, but she'll look in and examine the person and go,
And how are you finding your accommodation suitable?
I mean, I'm not dead, so I guess.
I'm glad to hear it. I'm here to check on your wounds.
Don't need no sawbones. I need wouldn't mind, a little bit of calf. That red one of yours really, oof. I can barely think straight right now.
She does have that effect on people.
The other side of the ship, there's a small statue.
yes,
Anyways.
but possibly an unspoken weak people, but
Mm.
yeah, has an effect on people. Weak people.
Lieutenant, if you would be willing to open the cell.
You hear a short grunt and nod, and the cell pops open. It's one of those sliding doors that clicks and then recedes into the wall side to side.
Based on our current arrangement of our tokens, we will look at the dag and go,
You first, if you would, please.
and gestures dag to go in first. Shred?
Hmm?
Gree is asking your character to go first.
I will make sure that I have the Cortosis gauntlets equipped. I'll keep the shotgun on my back. And I'll walk in through the door.
Okay.
If nothing happens after 5 seconds, Gree will also walk in.
If anything, he just tries to scoot back a little bit towards the bed as he realizes, oh, there's guests.
There's about to be 3 large men and 1 normal-sized woman in the cell.
Any ideas?
I have a feeling that the map might be a little bit small.
That's alright.
No, we get the general idea. Like, you can use the back of the 9 area just for theater of the mind if you like.
Probably just make it a little bit bigger. Because making something bigger on Foundry's side doesn't affect size, does it?
It shouldn't.
Like, if you prefer, we could go over like sort of here-ish or whatnot to
You also
28,
could
15
just
area.
you also could just shrink our tokens. 'Cause I think this is the default token size of 1. I think you could shrink it to like half and quarter.
Yeah. Anyway, the point is, it's bigger on the inside. Yes.
Yeah. Got it.
Hey, look, we got a cell up here now.
Yeah, sure. Might as well do that. We'll screw around with the map size later.
It's even a section not far away, 3 and 4. We could use that area.
Oh, I just drew a
Can't
box right
process
above
them.
us.
Oh, okay. Yeah, sure. That works. Okay, well,
Do-do-do-do-do-do-do.
oh, I can move the fix. Excellent.
Zepix just clambers into the cell.
Yeah, that might be a bit much even for the Yes. Yes.
3
It's not
large
D&D,
men,
it's Civic,
1
it does not
normal
have
sized
escape
man,
routes.
1 normal sized woman, a giant death mech, plus a bunk.
Jethor is basically staying and flanking Gree at all times, kind of just staying behind her near the door, kind of not always being within touching or reaching distance.
I love how Dreg is technically the only one actually in the cell, but he's the only one not in the cell brackets expanded.
They are parentheses.
Whoa. This is not one of my favorite dreams.
I would advise watching your tongue, pirate.
How about that cup of calf?
If you
Gree.
cooperate.
Gree, if you don't mind, could you give this one a cup of calf?
You can tell your underling outside to get it. Go.
Lieutenant
Technically
Doom,
true, but I do apologize, but I came with an idea that I prefer better, even if it's not like the best idea, which is that like Gree will favor the pirate smart.
And go. Of course, I'm actually very familiar with how to make calf. I'm quite a fan of it myself. I'll leave you with the others for just a moment. Excuse me.
Wait.
Oh,
I agree with this idea, by the way.
oh, good cop,
That's a-
bad cop, worst cop, war criminal.
But yeah, so for about like 2 minutes, I'll have Gree out of the scene actually preparing a cup of recaf.
Oh, Jethor, Drag, Ian, what are you doing to this poor man? Are you just looming overhead, cracking knuckles?
Well,
or-
he's bound, right? I assume he's somewhere. Is he
Yeah.
bound like close on the bed, or is he like bound on the floor?
He just has binders on.
Okay.
Is he on the bed or is he on the is he standing? Is he sitting? Lying down?
He's
Kneeling.
sitting.
Prone.
He is sitting.
On the
I'm gonna-
bed?
I
Crossed
presume
legs. Crossed legs on the floor. It looked like
he's
he had met-
gonna sit on the bed directly behind him, just loom over him.
Jethor's just gonna basically stand at the cell door.
Drag is going to sit on the floor to be more at eye level of this captain. So, you mind telling me what's going on? You know, while we get some calf for you.
Didn't I, give you the quick notes of the arrangement that I had?
Yeah, you gave us the quick notes, but I prefer the long, detailed. There's something quick notes just leave out. And look around. Got plenty of time.
By the way, where are we going? I know the ship's been moving, but we're not on the surface of Denevia yet.
No, and frankly, only the navigator really knows where the heck we're going. But for now, we're moving.
The GM whispers, "It's me." Anyways,
So yeah, what makes you wanna? Well, most people I know generally don't go become a vagabond. Well, some people like being a vagabond, but most people don't choose as a first choice.
a vaga
So-
what?
A pirate, someone who kind of roams around the stars, edge of society.
Pirate? No. I'm a respectable businessman.
Oh, really? Business of what?
I didn't think that far ahead.
So you're telling me you're a respectable businessman, but you don't know what the business is? Drag puts his hand.
No, I'm saying that I am a pirate, you damn nonce. I'm saying I didn't think the joke too far ahead.
You Jethor from the
Yes.
door. I wouldn't waste your words on him. Scum like
Now,
him,
now.
they just... They chose their life at a sadistic pleasure.
Now, Jethor. Give it a minute.
Hold on, I was in it for the profit,
You scum.
not like, you know, a religious figure, but a profit, like money.
Drag kind of gestures towards the captive captain and looks at Jethor, like, "Come on, we're getting somewhere. Just hold on."
Jethor just turns and spits on the floor and crosses his arms.
Tell me more about these profits.
That Ian's
Yeah,
new
so
voice.
it must be.
I love it.
Sorry, the translator malfunctioned again.
Could break that thing.
So yeah, it must be pretty profitable if you're running it.
See,
What is it?
it was.
It was.
What changed?
I don't know. Maybe I need that cup of coffee to jog my memory first.
You'll get it in a moment. Just give the woman time. So normally, when pirates take something, you're usually stealing something of value and then offloading it to someone else to get some credits. And then the money rolls. You know, you're a smart businessman after all.
My
what's
God,
up your...
you figured me out. Your point?
The point is, well, who on earth pays you? Right? Because right now, the way I see it, there's a lawful government, you steal from them, and then someone has to buy the stuff you steal. You know, unless you live off of, you know, eye candy all day. I mean, I guess you could, given what your eyes look like right now. But
Excuse
imagine your
me.
stomach is a little worse for wear if that was all true.
What do you mean what my eyes look like? Faintly glowing red.
Let's see if I got a mirror somewhere around here. Anyways, the point I'm asking politely is, Who do you offload to?
Ship this used to be. I feel like I've recognized it.
Hmm. Hmm.
He does that little annoying sucking on your teeth motion as if he seems to have gotten you.
Captain,
So.
he's changing the topic again.
Give it time, give it time.
How about we go back to your profits?
I mean,
How's
are
about
you
that? Sir, you go.
So, I imagine you're quite profitable. So, I got one more little quick question before the calf comes. You're certainly got a. Out of character, I'm gonna have to jog my memory on their relationship with that Ember of Lehan. Because it's been a while.
The captain was at the point where only his bridge crew was actually organic. And the rest of them, there's a couple of organic beings
Mm,
around, but then you saw a couple of them that were a little bit, um, shall we say, sick in the head.
gotcha. Okay, I got my line of reasoning coming up. So, your crew is pretty interesting. I'm sure, you know. Are you a fan of history?
He's giving you a look of, uh, what?
Well, you have a fairly uncommon crew, to say the least. You know what I mean? Especially in light of certain ancient histories. Well, ancient's a relative word.
It's
You
a
don't
bunch of,
remember?
it's a bunch of people and droids. I fail to see your point.
You don't remember the Great Droid Revolt? You know, like 1,000-something years. You don't.
Oh,
Juggernauts rain from the sky over Coruscant. Battling jump troopers over the Monument Plaza. Rogue assassin droid leading it all.
that
Quite
seems
uncommon.
a lot behind my time and not really relevant to my current ventures.
Oh, but it is quite relevant. You see, you must have a lot of trust in these droids if you have so many under your control. Especially since there's no master-slave unit to it. Not to mention your bridge crew as well. How do I put it? He kind of looks up around, basically everywhere except for the captain, as he's playing with his fingers. Let's say you're the only smart one around.
And at this point, Gree, probably coming around the corner.
Gree will briefly like be listening in a bit, like trying to figure out the best time to enter, but we'll have a quick bit of chat with the lieutenant about the prisoner and their condition. Currently, she's holding 2 cups of recaf. I'll let you continue your discussion.
Okay.
Huh. It got me thinking. I know the Republic. Yeah, they use droids. But in light of that incident, they never use droids to that extent. Which leads me to believe that someone else is supplying your droids. And given that, and given recent experience, I'm pretty sure I know who. Which then leads me to this question. Why on Earth? Why in the galaxy? This beautiful galaxy. Are you taking commands from a droid?
What are you on about?
The number of droids you have, the way they acted, how the rest of your crew is manic. It all comes from a nice ship I've seen.
Wait, they're all a bit eccentric, but manic is maybe a bit far.
Well, right now you're the only one who's speaking coherent sentences.
Where's my
Would you not
first
call
mate?
it manic? What, is your first mate speaking sentences too? Well, that makes 2 out of...
So, unless you killed him, that usually stops the making of sentences.
Had a character that was funny.
Back to the point. Why
He-
would you subject
He's
yourself so
visibly
low?
concerned.
Why would you subject yourself so low to it? They must have promised you something.
Know what you mean? I got these from a person.
A person. Drag raises his eyebrow. Have you seen this person in the
Like
flesh?
a calf. I need something to steady me nerves. Starts to clam up a little bit and is scooting to the edge of the bed.
Hey, no time for fear. Yeah, reaches over and Brad puts a hand firmly on his shoulder. We just talking, see?
What the fuck are you?
I'm gonna waltz
What
in
I'm
with Gree at
saying.
that particular moment.
I'm made of fur.
See? Your calf has arrived.
Like, Gree will like act like just like happy, simple, as it were, but she'll endeavour to give a warm smile and then simply go like,
I apologize, I didn't know how you take your coffee, so I went with 1 sugar and light cream. I hope you don't mind.
He goes to grab, but then remembers that there's a little reminder that his arms are kind of behind his back.
I will take one of the calves and then I will start gently letting him drink from the cup.
I was gonna offer to like tip it into his mouth.
Yeah, I'm basically doing the same thing, yeah.
No, but like from behind in like a power play. One hand
I'm trying
firmly
to
on the
make him feel-
shoulder, other hand pouring
make-
calf.
Someone has not read modern human intelligence collecting theory.
Yeah, if you be nice to your prisoners, they actually tell you a lot of stuff.
Yeah, but like nice in like an imposing sense. Like
No,
I
like,
hold your life in my hands.
"Hello, would
mean-
you like me to cut your dinner?"
I mean, yeah, in movies that works. I guess this is a movie simulator, but
Mm,
Now is not the time for fear. That comes later.
but yes, I let
yeah.
him drink. Actually, do we have a
Sorry, go.
straw?
Gree can duck out again if you want.
Can we just assume we have a straw? It just makes it easier for him to drink out of
you
it.
you would have seen the fact that he is bound, yes, and that you could have.
Okay, then
brought-
yeah. Let's say Gree is
Yeah, I
smart
would-
enough to realize a straw might be ideal.
And
Or
can I,
have one.
in that case, Ian would be the one to take the saucer and just sort of like hold it in front of his mouth firmly.
Hmm.
What
Also, for the record, have any of you just asked Gree for the calf in question, or
Just taking it from her.
yeah,
I thought you had it on a plate or in your hand. Yeah, we kind of
Yeah,
socially
you know what?
taken it from you.
Yeah, fair enough. Then yeah, I agree. A plate is pretty smart. So, Gree will be a bit surprised, but trust in your intelligence gathering methods, your more hands-on methods. Anyway, go.
Considering his background.
Exactly.
So yeah, I'll just pose the question again as he's drinking calf. So, do you mind sharing why you made a deal with such a person? Do you know what he promised you?
He is taking the opportunity to keep on sucking down the calf slowly as he's trying to think, and even though it's probably a little bit warm, if not scalding, it's just that slow, constant disregard for the temperature of the drink that's hitting his tongue.
Based on a psychology textbook that Gree has read, presuming that if you mimic the actions of others, they're more likely to trust you, Gree will also start drinking their coffee.
Jethro, what are your thoughts?
Should have Jethor
Yeah, Jeff was wondering what
feed
the
it to
hell is
you.
going on.
Yeah, why were you nice to this guy for some reason? Just
Yeah,
coming here?
Jethor has reservations on the methods being used, but he is not one to assault or hurt somebody who, in this case, is unarmed. However, you do see Jethor sit down. He kind of shrugs his shoulders. He takes the lightsaber off of his belt, extends it, doesn't ignite it, sits down on the ground, and adopts a meditative pose, basically. Legs crossed, the lightsaber extended across his lap, and his hands kind of together, and just keeps a very focused stare on the pirate.
He is unnerved as he looks at you at the corner of his eye. Gree. For kits and giggles, if you roll me... I want to say medicine, but for whatever reason, a knowledge of some sort.
What
How
kind of
about
knowledge?
knowledge xenology to see how well you made coffee for this particular alien?
Sure. What's the difficulty?
Let's go 3
Trivial.
purple.
16 reds. He has different amino acids from the rest of us.
Goddamn Turians!
Turians and Quarians are compatible, baby. I need to go.
I should go.
Emergency induction.
I know this seems stupid because I did a roll before, but how do I roll a static thing again?
Click the dice of the skill.
Maybe it's behind. Oh, okay, it was behind the sheet. No wonder I couldn't see it. Okay, trivial is 1 purple.
3 purple difficulty.
Okay. And this is based purely on genetic compatibility, or are we talking about taste?
All the above.
Then, as a very avid coffee drinker, can we add a boost dice for Green knowing how to make a good coffee?
Plus the 2 from Jethor.
Yes.
Yes.
Okay. And with that in mind, let's roll Xenology. The coffee is transcended.
Okay, so as he's drinking, first it's just like, this is my last drink, these people are going to kill me. But then he's starting to settle in with the, this is a good cup of coffee. Maybe if I had coffee like this every day, I would not have turned to a life of crime.
Well done, you
So
just killed your players.
He's just starting to space out a little bit. Mechanically, he recovers a good deal of strain.
I'd say if I was going to recover wounds, I'm going to, like, remember this recipe, certainly.
Unfortunately, no, just strain.
Mm-hmm.
So, what would you like to do with that advantage?
Okay. I'm open to thoughts, but my basic idea would be simply to have him, like, more willing to converse or be honest. What
And
are everyone
try.
else's thoughts? Without poisoning them to death. Believe me, Greed wanted to do that, that would have already been arranged.
Yeah, my brain is thinking maybe with the coffee, right? Because life of a pirate is pretty harsh. And having a
Oh yeah,
good warm
this
meal.
is a very much of a comfort thing, including the idea that she put in sugar and like creamer. That's luxury, basically.
Oh yeah,
It is not
It-
That sort of
sludge.
played into part of it.
yeah. In modern intelligence gathering with being nice, if you're familiar with it, people are surprisingly open when you're just nice to them. Is it manipulative? Yeah, I mean it's kind of the point.
Oh yeah.
But it's certainly a lot more effective than what we would consider like movie coercion, which usually just gets people to clam up and shut up.
Mm-hmm.
This more looses them. I mean, you've heard the phrase "loose lips sink ships."
Yep.
So perhaps an opportunity has occurred.
I thought that
where...
I thought that phrase originated with Helen of Troy, but I could be wrong.
I usually think of 1940 Britain with the shipping, loose lips sink ships. But you're thinking the horny. Look, not everything's the horny version. Well, yes, Helen of Troy is true. Mechanically, how would you feel if I could make, say, a charm check against his cool? Or perhaps, like, a competitive cool check, just to see if I'm breaking through to him. You know, gets a little boost die out of it.
Yeah, so you'd like
as well.
this advantage to count as boost die towards sort of breaking down his will in a positive way?
In a positive way.
So, cool versus your charm or your cool as well?
Can we
Which
toss
study?
him boost die, given that I am literally feeding this man the coffee?
Yeah, let's go with charm. I think charm makes more sense. So, yeah,
Okay.
what would my difficulty on this charm check be? It'd probably be against his cool. He might have
It
some
would
cool.
be 3 red.
Alright, how many boosts am I getting? I think I'm getting
The
2
from Jethor.
Jethor.
Depends how many you want the advantage to count for when it comes to your roll.
Or perhaps
Can we assist in any way from being in the room and also feeding him the coffee?
What check is this making? What? Sorry.
So
charm.
this-
Charm versus cool, to my knowledge.
This is Drag's attempt to use his charm as an extension of the coffee
Te-
to...
I mean, technically, my boosts only come with perception and vigilance checks, but if you want to
Okay.
make it extend to other things, that's fine too. But
Right. I think there was a 2 boost die from an earlier perception check that would play into soul.
Oh yeah, from
checks.
Gree's
Just that-
initial
yeah.
perceptions.
I mean, I'm okay with having Jethor's, that 2 boosts from Jethor being that, the force assistance with being alert or something like that. to
Yeah,
just-
like, oh yeah, you could roll the idea that like you're watching their body language, you're judging that accordingly, and adjusting yourself based on that stuff, things like that.
So how
If you
about
wanted.
this? Yeah. So how about this from Gree's check? The advantage plays into 5 advantage. Let's say that rolls into like 2 success into the check automatically, in addition to the boost die from Jet Thor. Only because Gree has made such a good coffee that because he is living a surprised life of luxury, it's more of a guarantee that's going to penetrate through it because it's so good, as opposed to the dice, which is like a hit or miss kind of thing.
Yeah, a bit of guaranteed comfort based on the coffee.
Sure, let's go with that.
All right, so I think I'm at 3 ability because it's my 3 presence, 2 boost die, 2 success, 3 red die. Sounds
Started
good.
3 red die. Yep. Do you want to flip a destiny point?
You tempt me so much.
A good GM should.
It can only go well.
It can only go. Amazing.
Dang.
Wow.
2 blank. Double failure.
double.
Yeah.
Incredible.
Yes, these dice are powerful.
Can we say there's another boost die there? Because he's having it literally spoon fed to him.
There's no way another
That's
boost
nothing.
die is gonna fix it.
And
I will accept the failure with advantage.
Yeah.
Clearly, he's not going through with it.
So, as he's drinking his coffee, what are you saying?
To him.
What's your. Yeah, what are you trying to say?
Help me out understand it. Because right now, where you're going, could be a little rough. And I just want to see what's best for you. And well, help me understand that is figuring out why you accepted the offer from this person or droid. It just seems very unusual.
So unusual about accepting a bit of free crew and good, loading and unloading and the good pilots and good haulers and good fighters if you're able to get them in the right position. Not to mention they explode. I mean, it's a bit of an issue on a ship and everything, but you get them in the right place. To forget your burn gel or something.
Drag is a little exasperated, thinking, "Dang, this isn't working out like you planned." But with some advantages, perhaps trying to think of a way to use the advantages not for like purely mechanical, kind of more of a narrative change. Do I see that he is responsive to this pampering treatment, or do I get a sense from previous experience that perhaps an alternative questioning or interrogation approach would be better? Basically, I'm trying to parlay the advantage into
What will work.
changing strategy. What would be the best strategy to change to?
You would be able, I'll say with that advantage. With that advantage, you definitely see that with the presence of 3 burly individuals that he knows can handle themselves in a fight and wipe the floor with the droids, it is very unnerving. And he is very receptive to the fact that Gree brought him some very well made coffee. So he's able to, if you're able to perceive what he's doing as his eyes are looking around like a cornered animal, you see that he's looking at everyone except for Gree. Like, I'm just waiting for one of them to put a blaster bolt in my head.
All right, then I am going to look at the pirate captain and tell him, I see. Now that makes a lot of sense when you got, good crew, good ship, good hull. I mean, why wouldn't you? Well, as he stands on up, well, try my best to help you. And he kind of looks over to Ian, gesturing his eyes and his head to like, come on, follow me out. Looks over to Jethor, does the same thing, gestures his head to kind of like, let's get out of the store. And then looks over to Gree and gestures towards the captain, saying, with the nonverbal cue of like, you got this.
He's all yours.
How much coffee is left in this cup that I'm holding in front of his face?
It's gone.
Wow,
Ooh.
that was...
Oh, that was fast.
He loves Kyle, apparently.
That was fast.
Death's
Drink up,
row.
friend.
Oh well, Death Row has a tendency to make one very thirsty and hungry.
I'll see if I can get some food for you too. Do you have a preferred? Pretend you're not on death row because you're really not. But if we had some nice food, do you have a preferred style? Some bantha meat. Potatoes. Orange
My
juice.
God, those are a delicacy where I'm from.
Protein bars. Ice cream sandwiches.
Ice cream sandwiches. You like limes?
How later?
All right. Well, you change, just kind of gesturing towards Ian, and as he sees the empty coffee cup, he takes the coffee cup away from the pirates area, kind of starts migrating everyone towards the door, and then asks Jethor to come on, let's go.
You can see Jethor from his sitting position on the floor just meet your eyes, and then without even a hint of a response, just turns his head back and continues to stare unblinkingly at the pirate captain.
As Drag has seen Jethor not moving, he is going to put his hand on Jethor's shoulder. As awkward as it is, considering Jethor is certainly more massive than Drag. Hey, kind of whispering so that neither of the two hear. Just leave them in the room for now. If you want to get this stuff, you could be right outside. She can handle it.
I have no...
I can explain to you outside.
I have no doubts of the lieutenant's skills, but I will not leave her side for this. I know what pirates can do.
So do I. However, if we don't leave, gain nothing out of him. Trust me, okay?
You see his shoulders kind of drop with a sigh. Picks up the extended hilt of the lightsaber and taps it on the floor. It shrinks down into the compact size. And he rises up to his full 7-foot height. I suppose. Lieutenant, I will be right outside.
Oh, thank you.
Like, Gree's acting like oblivious, but even she can guess the idea.
Good boy, friend. He follows them out.
I know that was hard for you, Jathor, but I'm proud of you. Gree will be safe.
As I said before, I have no doubts or qualms over the lieutenant's skills. I merely question the demeanor and motives of scum.
Drag nods his head as he curiously imagines what the inside looks like now that the scary people have left, that the pirate captain knows about.
Is the cell have like a glass face to it?
Ooh,
It's
can we flip a destiny point so it's like the interrogation rooms where it's like a one-way mirror, so like we can see into it but they can't see out?
I mean, you do have a security console for the brig. You
That's
just
where
had
the
to.
lieutenant is.
You just need to move the lieutenant a little bit.
I will move with the lieutenant and take a. I'll just kind of just look over Lieutenant Adun's shoulder and just make sure that there's two sets of eyes going on here.
Jethor merely paces the face of the cell.
Gree will look at the pirate captain and go,
Well, I guess they trust you won't try to hurt me, so that'll make the medical examination a bit easier. If you'd be willing, could I get you to sit on the bunk?
Sure. And he does so.
Mhm.
He's a bit of a lanky fellow of a canine descent.
Right, with medical supplies in tow, like Gree will do, like, sort of a proper medical examination and whatnot. Like, her focus is going to be more on less about healing him and more on uh, easing the pain of the wounds, basically.
Okay.
Like, if a bit of extra healing comes here or there, like, that's probably not the idea. But her point is to remove pain rather than, like, sort of suture the body in painfully or anything like that.
Gotcha. So it's mechanically it's not to heal.
Yes. Like, it's more sort of cosmetic. It's like, like, this isn't hurting anymore. You're doing a good job. Yes, of course.
Turn your head and cough. Wait, not that kind of medical exam. Alright, and he definitely. So as you're going about the examination and tell him, okay, move your arm like that. Okay, does it hurt when I do this? All right, here's a little painkiller, topical, analgesic. So you folks aren't gonna kill me, or what's going on? Are we going somewhere?
Gree sees no reason particularly to lie to the person. Like, she'll just mention, like, offhandedly, it's like, oh, we're going to insert planet name here. Was it Siciliana or?
Yep.
Like,
You have been interdicted to Suliana.
Sorry, it's a bit hard to talk out of character in character when I'm flipping this thing on and off, but basically, Gree will, like, seem a bit puzzled, like, but simply then mention,
We're going back to Sicilian honor at this point. Why?
Curious?
Fair enough. Tuck your chin up, please. I just want to inspect the neck.
Gree will like put a sort of a bit of ointment there, and it's like,
And that should help with your breathing a bit. Ease the nerves.
Actually, that does. It's actually been giving me issues for the past couple of weeks. What's a nice little thing like you doing with a bunch of scary people like them?
It was just the role that I was assigned. You know how it is that you make your way through life, you work through and sort of do what you can, and sometimes you're in charge of your destiny, other times you're just sort of drifting along trying to make the best of your circumstances, you know?
Suppose. I'd note, I just remembered that you guys have 3, 6, you have 8 of these other Joblos of the crazy sort in the other 3 cells. And I'm gonna need to put those on the map. They're all effectively tased.
Yeah, I get the feeling they're not going to be as valuable as, say, the leader. Leader's more in the know.
yeah, sure. But Gree
Hey, we
will.
won't know until we do some brutalizing.
Yeah.
We can corroborate information, but
But Gree will sort of follow in that bit of logic and say,
So, like, your crewmates don't seem like, well, what happened to them? Before us.
Sorry, can you say that again?
Your crewmates don't seem well. What happened to them? Before us, I mean.
Like I was telling the other guy with the bat ears and the grumpy face, not all of them are my crew. At least, most of them weren't. Those people that I got the droid from. That's one of those stipulations, see? That, there's sort of a joining a little conglomerate or a fleet, but not really a fleet, because that's not what we actually do out here. No one can probably agree to follow under one person, you see.
Oh, so they were helping you out.
That's what the droids are for, yep. Just an exchange for doing a specific job every once in a while, and this time around it was, well... He catches himself before letting on too much.
Gree will just simply smile. It's like, to have given you such resources, they must really trust you.
Well... Can trust a cheater to cheat, a liar to lie, a gambler to gamble, so on, so on.
Gree will chuckle and it's like,
Oh, those type of friends. I see. Sorry, I misread the situation.
Strange, though. A lot of my close mates went to go see a benefactor, and sometimes they said they'd wanted to stay. And then there's a little bit of an exchange program, see? Those Joe Blows over there, and he's pointing at the other 2 cells that he can see through the slat, and it's like, it's one of those doors where it's 3 sections of metal, but in the in between them, but there's like glass that you can sort of see. But when he was being dragged in here, you probably also saw where his errant crew are. I barely know him. Followed orders, at least.
Did they explain why they wanted to stay?
See, that was a funny bit because I got this whole new batch right before that we decided to blockade over. Well, blockade's a real strong word, but it's more like the fact that there weren't any patrol ships or anything. Most of them tend to stay near the Sodden governor's planet, you see.
Just briefly out of character, is there any particular information we're trying to strive from the captain, or just general information?
My broad scope was trying to figure out. Sorry, so the Ember Lehon's base is supplying them. At least roughly what I've gathered.
The
Yeah.
droids that you were fighting against bore similar make and model.
Yeah, so pretty reasonable assumption that thing's supplying them. I've got the general idea that the Ember of Lehon's, the reason why the guys getting from the Ember of Lehon is obviously good crew, good ships. This thing is pirate ones.
Mm-hmm.
I'm trying to ascertain more. Does the Ember of Lehon have a pattern, some exploitable weakness, just more information on the ship in particular that we could use later down the line? Because they have had, excuse my English, a direct interaction with the ship. We have had more of a let's get the heck out of here. So yeah, it'd be more general information about the ship. Perhaps their capabilities, perhaps, if we're really lucky, figuring out what the heck, why the ship is doing what it's doing.
Mm-hmm.
Does that help you?
Oh, yeah. But yeah, apologies, but it has been a bit of a while since our last one.
Mm-hmm.
I feel ya.
Anyway, so, like, great look at the captain.
Okay. That said, you said that they were keeping an eye on you. Did they try to cheat you? Did you trust them to cheat to cheat you, gamble to gambler? You know.
Trying to think over either whether or not to engage with the conversation more, or how to word it.
Same.
And thinking you might need to make a social check of some sort.
What are you thinking?
So he's still reserved about talking about the particulars, but you did give him a good drink. The burly men that seemed to have caused a drop the soap situation to almost happen are gone, and so that's going to weigh in your favor. As far as Gil needed,
I admit I'm tempted, partly because of how Gree is handling it, and part because, well, my skills favor that way, but I'm basically Gree's sort of hoping that from this sort of small talk and whatnot. She's sort of hoping that he's falling for the perception that, oh yeah, it's like this is just some stuff that's like, just caught up in life and around here. Like they're a bit like me. They're just trying to struggle through life and stuff like that. And the idea of like, oh yes, we genuinely have commonality, and I'll open up to them, as opposed to, oh no, I'm totally an intelligence officer and I know basically everything about everything. So like, if you're willing, like I'd sort of aim more for a deception check for the idea, because like Greer's sort of feeding them like basically half truths, and the idea of like, oh yeah, it's like yeah, I'm just where I ended up in
For
life,
all
as
he
opposed to
knows,
like,
you're the nurse.
yeah, pretty
one-
much.
Mm.
Yeah.
Anyway, but how did you want to play it?
So you'd want to try and do deception.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm going to say that he's already fairly comfortable in both that he's relaxed and also that he feels like you're getting a little bit of read. It's like a holdover from before that he feels in control of some of the situation. So if you wanted to try and deceive him, you'd be going up against his vigilance.
Yeah, sure.
Your difficulty is 2 purple.
Any setback or boost or whatnot?
Um, 2 from the earlier because of how you're playing all this, yeah, the 2 boosts from earlier for being nice.
Mm-hmm. Any setback I should be aware of?
Nope.
Okay, so skill roll, 2 purple and 2 boost to help.
E. Okay, what's this look like?
Now, I was hoping for deception because I put a lot into it when we had Avalot about. Because you don't want to be caught lying to a Sith.
Excuse me. Alright, you're a silver-tongued she-devil. What are you saying to him to loosen him up?
I'm gonna have Grieg go with the sort of commonality angle, so Grieg will be basically going like,
Sometimes I just wish life were a bit more simple, a bit more straightforward, less rough. Just everything just gets so tiring, you know? Just wish I didn't have to live life without just so many worries. Just go out and enjoy life. Be free of all this.
and basically from that, Grieg is trying to sort of put the idea of like, maybe if he tells information and based on Drag's statement of, we're not planning to kill you, that if he simply gives up the information, maybe he can enjoy a life where he just can go and do what he wants and not have to worry about all this.
Hmm. It's probably the nicest thing I've ever heard somebody say. That's relatable. Let alone people that have been well within their rights to try and, blast me and my ship to stardust. Why are you so curious about all these bots that on my ship?
Out of character, I'm just pondering for a moment.
Well, one, I've been known to dabble in metalwork from a bit of time to time. We even have a few droids around here, and two, just those ones you kept with you were just so different that, well, a bit curious, honestly. You must have to get something so new, like that's really sort of interesting and cool, but confusing all at the same time.
New? You thought those things were new? I mean, they move decently well enough. Have together, but they didn't like competition from other droids, though. That much was true when practically tore apart a poor little astromech that we had in the back when they found it. Didn't like the competition, I guess.
Gree will sort of chuckle a bit and be like,
Oh dear. Wonder if the corporations have finally gone on to the idea that if they scrap their oppositions, they can make more profits that way or something.
Wouldn't be surprised. Probably wouldn't be thinking it's all really odd if I didn't actually have an outside observer to talk about this with. So thank you for that, I guess. Maybe it was for the better. I'm not a captain of that vessel anymore. Only shitty thing at the end of the day is going to be that, well, you're probably going to be clapped in irons and then shuffled into Suliana's jails somewhere. Might see some old friends.
To be honest, I don't know what they really have like planned. They haven't really discussed it with me, but like deep down, I think you're a good person. I think you're just like all of us. You've been dealt a rough hand in life, and you're just trying to make the best of what you've got. Sure, that's the reason that you've lived the life you have, and how you've had to meet up to have all these odd jobs in all these different places. Did you did you get to enjoy just traveling about from all these different places? Did you get to actually and
sorry, briefly, it was like, Gree's going to use her knowledge of probably of Outer Rim to identify out of the planets here which one of them is known for making a really good coffee and mention that in passing. But I haven't memorized the list of planets around here or anything like that, so...
That's okay. I have a dialer.
Mhm.
It's easy enough to say that the only real sign of civilization would probably be Suliana, and that it started to create the mega structures that you would see towards the core worlds.
Mhm.
must be nice to travel, but Siciliano, there's actually a really nice cafe there that can make a really, really good cup of coffee. I like to think I make a good one, but you know, there's a big difference when it's in a cafe as well, you know?
Yeah. One second.
Yeah, me too. Trying to play a very intelligent character, and it's not easy always. It's like, oh yes, my character totally knows how to direct this conversation. I
That is
don't.
Not
The
what
character is
I-
smarter than me.
Yes, exactly.
Just like the character is more charming than me.
Just
Yeah, so those type of
amend any
things.
statement you make with finger guns.
So the irony is that I think, funnily enough, even the just drawing out a character a bit, I think the hardest one to do is you're actually playing a character that's lower in a stat than you are, as it were. Like I'm playing Ogren in a 40k game and trying to play a dumb character while also communicating like in few words but getting your point across is actually really tricky. So there's that too, like quite strong man who in few words explains situation, like actually shows some more depth of knowledge than a person that can pontificate on details for ages and ages. Anyway, so in short, like Gree's trying to sort of like get here to like talking about all these other places and trying to get the person to open up about the other places they've gone is the idea, I guess. Because she hypothesizes that anywhere that he's gone to is probably areas that he's met the Emperor of Leyhan, because he's generally focused on just having these specialized jobs.
Mm-hmm.
See, that's my character actually doing something smart. The trick is getting him to reveal the locations.
So, say to be expedient, as you're chatting with him, he expresses a shiver down his spine as he goes across a couple of the certain areas of some of the systems nearby. One is Shun, one is Doreen, and another is, well, no longer Denevia, which is weird. There's no correlation between what just happened and your current circumstances, right? So I'll put in the names if I can. Antic. Yeah, and I can draw things. How do you set the color?
You have to make this cut the drawing first, and then you can double left click it, or double right click it. You can get to the color stuff in the menu. It defaults to whatever color you set yourself to.
Gotcha. Oh no. Okay, so I just updated on the galaxy map these planets. He's saying that there is something fishy going on. And as you're doing the general information gathering, at some point he's like, I appreciate you people not killing me after all, although I'm just gonna. I, I really would appreciate just a little bit of sleep. This cot actually looks mighty fine to put one's head down on. Even though they just got the calf, it's probably gonna end badly. Do some soul searching, staring at the wall, or just staring at the wall. Rue my past life choices. Consider triumphs and achievements. Figure out who's probably gonna stab me as soon as I get into prison. Figure out how to stab them first. You know.
I'll let you get some rest. The good drink and the ointments should help make you rest a bit easier. And for what it's worth, like, good luck with everything.
Alright. Yeah, thanks.
Gree will favor them with a simple smile and sort of pack up their medical supplies and then like walk to the door.
We're out of the cell zone.
Jethor sees Gree step out. Well, were you able to get information from him?
Some information, not a like he was knowledgeable about sort of generalized operations, but not the nitty-gritty details. The best I could do was hear of a few locations that he had worked at for recently, and based on the fact that they only seem to call him for specialized jobs, that would be likely locations where the Ember's been.
Well, do you believe that's all we will get from him?
For now. At this moment, he doesn't know what his fate is and can't really plan for his future. So he's not going to be overtly confident in providing much information. Maybe if we're able to secure like something along the lines of immunity, then maybe, but beyond that, I'm not sure.
You see Jethor narrow his eyes slightly at that, the suggestion of pardon or immunity for him. I do not like the idea of that man, or any of his ilk, wandering free. But I will respect your judgment. You are far more wise than me in this matter.
Gree will sort of chuckle a bit and a more genuine smile back than certainly that she's been given the pirate. Simply goes with.
To be fair, Jeff, that's only if we think that they have particular information that we actually do want. We might be able to get information other ways, and honestly, it depends on the individual themselves. They might decide to mutter about their life aloud in a cell filled full of listening devices, for example.
Jethor nods. And then he tilts his head as if an idea strikes him. Gree, do we know if the ship, what of its astrogation logs? I know I was working on some of the systems on the glaive during its dry dock. Perhaps it has information he's unwilling to divulge?
Quite possible I might move such examinations to the top of my list. Thank you, Jeffo.
You see a slight smile, and he nods his head. Right. Onward then.
All right, and it looks like Mordon and Leaps and Mr. Daggers have been having an interesting time of trying to listen to music. That's awesome. Drag, you've just been watching.
Yeah, Hex probably would just be watching this whole affair.
As
And I
Mordon
mostly just
I think I just DM'd Noko. It's like, okay, they can take it from the first crewmate he sees, and then I moved Hex over. Hey guys, how's it going? Funk. This is mine now.
Yeah, Hex probably would just be sad, but we can get more earphones. Hex can bitch to me later.
And will.
And will.
If we know Hex, he will. So anyway,
Okay.
we're landing on Suliana here momentarily.
Yes, you are momentarily.
That's it. I will have Green, us, Drag, that.
Mhm.
For the pirate captain, what? I haven't actually been advised of what their fate is to be. Has the decision been made yet?
Who's she speaking to?
Drag in this case.
Sorry, could you repeat that sentence again? I didn't catch it.
Regarding the pirate captain, what is their planned fate? I don't think you've mentioned it to me yet, or has a decision not yet been reached regarding it?
Drag shrugs his shoulders. I guess we'll keep them for now.
You don't think that the governor's going to demand all prisoners we may or may not have?
I mean, he might, and doesn't bother me if he takes them. We're not executing them. That's pretty much the only thing
Darn. I mean, what?
I know.
I wasn't going to suggest anything quite to that degree. I was just pondering that he certainly seems more receptive to good rather than bad, as it were. Just pondering how much good is it worth offering him and what we can gain in turn, or if it's better to not be concerned and cut our losses and just turn them over.
Well, based on what I think I overheard you find out, I doubt we're gonna get much more from him directly. Maybe some metadata from the astrogation logs. Maybe we can look into that stuff more. But him personally, Drag shakes his head towards the negative. I don't think he's that valuable to us, gesturing at Gree and Drag anymore.
Well, to be fair, I was able to find some information about the locations that he has gone for jobs, and considering he seems like the type of person that lives paycheck to paycheck, he's been most likely working more or less exclusively for them. Living at it, Vade, Shun, Torain, and Yitum.
You know, one of these days, kind of drags off. And we should meet the governor. You know how impatient he gets. politicians, am I right?
Ah, yes, always wanting everything now and to be praised yesterday for doing nothing now.
Some things just don't change, no matter where you go. Well, are you coming?
If you'd like me to sit on that, we certainly can, though if you don't feel you have a need for me, I can get started looking into the astrogation logs.
Yeah,
Did you
those
have,
logs are probably a little bit more important than the governor. I guess I'll go check on Zats and see where she's at, and then I'll go to the governor. If you and someone else could look at the astrogation logs, that would be a great benefit to us both.
Big
Fair enough, I'll
assassin.
focus my efforts on that for a time, but if the situation changes, do let me know before departure.
Certainly.
Speaking of assassin, everyone in some shape or form realized that she still has not returned from whatever business has called her away.
I'm gonna politely. Let's see. Are these doors soundproof?
Kind of.
Sound dampening.
They are sound dampening. Yes.
Do I get the sense there's still activity going on in this room, or is
You
it
hear a lot of activity, and then Assassin raises her voice to barely a shout,
more?
and then drops it low and coldly. She seems to be in the middle of something that would probably be a bad thing to become the focus of.
Drag will utilize the obvious hint from the meta universe and then politely go to the conference area, which I think is on the third floor.
That's the mess. Not
It's
the
a
mess. Yeah, that
this
is the
is
mess.
the
Alright, while Gree's making her way to her comms office
Her
in Area
nest.
32,
Yes.
for meta fun, I'm going to listen on a session's conversation.
Okay.
Unless you'd prefer for me not to do that.
Actually, so you're gonna get to your room with the electronics equipment, and if you want to try and tap into that, what happened? Huh?
Can you flip that back over? I'll try and move it out of the way.
Oh, you accidentally clicked dark side. I see. Shouldn't you be able to click light side and flip one back?
Yeah, I'll do it. 1 second. So you settle in. You're about to start working on the logs, and then you're like, maybe you'll try and find out what's going on.
Yep.
You attempt
Basically.
to get into it, but seems like something is, well, literally off. But if you'd like to try and do a computer's check to find out what's going on,
Anything that's compromised Gree's system is a cause for concern, and she will make a computer's check accordingly.
3 red, but you recognize, just from a glance, you recognize some of the handiwork. So add a boost. Would you like to upgrade your check?
Just give me a short moment. I want to examine my very, very small pool of specialization skills and see if any of them might apply in this situation. Though I guess the big question might be, am I trying to break any sort of encryption or code?
You are attempting to break code. Yes, it looks like it's been laced on top of yours.
Okay, then in that case, for code breaker, decrease difficulty of computer or intelligence checks to break codes or decrypt communications.
Okay.
So does that decrease the entire die, or just from 3 red to 2 red, 1 purple?
It downgrades, right?
Downgrade. Okay, so 2 red, 1 purple. Okay, then I will. Yep, that seems to be everything. Besides, the task will take 25% less time, but it's not really important for the roll.
That's a
Interesting.
lot of dice. Ooh boy.
Shred is envious.
Nice. I mean, you used to see it on the checks. That's good. I think I know what the
love it.
despair is.
I love it when I get despairs. All right, so you are successfully able to boot off the extra security that someone from the outside has put onto your system, and you are able to see inside the conference room. And at present, you were able to see Sasson having a very one-sided conversation with Commander Pern of the Glaive. With that advantage, I can... With the advantage, I'll say that you would be able to actually see the last minute or 2 or 3 of what they were talking about. Because right now, you don't have any context other than she's angry and giving Pern a tongue lashing.
So this code on top of things like block the sort of general recordings that Gree has from regarding the communications in that room, or? Because previously we had used like recorded communications or whatnot to like expose Avalet in incompetence last time, for example.
Yeah, yes, exactly.
Either way, like it would be a good idea that like whether it be due to the event or not, like finding out what's happened in the last 3 minutes to explain what's going on.
Okay. Are you ready to scrub through the video feed?
Yeah, video and audio feed. Let's have a look-see.
So I imagine that Gree is one of those people that could probably watch, understand, and retain 4 times speed. However, what you and most of everyone else had seen Sasson get a call earlier and decided to take it up in the meeting room. And the recording is actually a report from Pern announcing that he had, during the radio silence caused by the EMP missiles launched by the Ember Shard, that odd-looking space station that was also hiding in the hiding, so to speak, above Denebia. He had also taken the initiative to bombard with turbo lasers the supposed area that looked most like the pirate stronghold. And it happened to also have been within uh, a mile or two of a civilian population center. There might have been some collateral damage and also fires that are now raging across that portion, that little neck of the woods, so to speak. Not only is it bad for their image, but Sassen is visibly perturbed by this particular course of action that Pern had decided was a good idea. And that she would be even considering to take command of the glaive herself in order to instill the proper amount of discipline that those under her command should exercise. And present time is the tail end of also having received a little bit of a message, a disgruntled message from the governor about him learning of this through his own sources, how one of the civilian centers near an area of farmland that was ready for harvest is now on fire. So her headache is especially now Pern's headache. The despair? Pern looks up. He looks directly into the camera. He looks at his data pad he's been holding off to the side. He taps a couple of keys, and your feed winks out. It's just a text message. Nice trick.
Gree will sort of mutter to herself.
Oh, wrong move, Commander Boy. You do not tamper with my toys.
This is my.
They may have gone to the same. Yeah, they may have gone to the same academy, but I think all my characters seem to make a like. I feel personally connected to blank, and therefore you do not touch blank. Zan wants to have the party looked after. Ricochet also wanted to have the party looked after. Gree's gonna go for people and definitely all the toys and drones and whatnot.
So this is a
Look, if I had my presence on it, this is mine. It has my mark on it.
touch my stuff.
Yeah. But yes. But yeah, like, yeah. Gree will be a bit surprised at that. Like, for a moment, like, she'll actually take that, like, a sort of a bit hard that a commander was able to, like, out-computerize an analyst to boot them off a system. And, like, take a bit of moment to, like, soothe that wounded pride for a bit before, like, she like goes and like double checks her systems to make sure that there's no more other code in other sectors that Pern has somehow gone himself or another analyst to do.
So, yeah, it appears that there's just that one because Hearn wanted to make sure that it was a private call at some point during their discussion between Sasson and him. And when you were going over the code, it looks like you missed just the tiniest little line of code that alerted the owner that it had been tampered with.
Calm down, Crean. It was just one mistake. One mistake. One mistake. One mistake. One mistake.
Sorry, out of character. Did that actually come through, or?
Yep, did.
Okay. So she'll be like frustrated with herself, but she'll take small consolation that like it was just that and it was just an alert, but she knows that the next time a situation might be that could mean so much more. So after she's gone, she's going to check the system, and after she's done her check there, then she'll go through the logs and just basically be sort of like annoyed for most of that time.
Okay.
Who knew that Greg would not take like failure lightly?
All right. Well, while you're settling into the logs, looking.
Now, for the record, when Lady Session actually does come out of the conference room, Gree will give a sort of status update and confirm the situation that's to happen, and advise that Drag had mentioned that getting the data from the ship would be most important, but what are her... Did she have any overriding orders?
Okay. I will keep that in mind. And for the rest of you, the familiar site of Suliana, about the same area that you had spent a little bit of R&R in. Minus a couple of words.
Oh no.
Showing
Yeah.
exactly which...
Need some vision.
Gosh. There we go.
Thank you.
So the ship will be up near where the starport is. The ship is. That is very small.
Small ship, it's very far away.
Just a visual representation that y'all are back on Suliana. And of course, I'm going to be chucking all of you back on the tier because Mr.
Oh, I guess I'm the tier now.
I am having too much fun with this conversation. We're gonna get killed by Mr. Taggers.
Let's just bring you guys back over. What happened?
Let's find out.
Mon
I'll be right back.
Mon wants to talk. Arrows.
Yeah. They're giving Mr. Daggers like combat flowing music via death metal. Okay, maybe not death part, but metal that may result in someone's death.
At least Jethor's there now. He can punch the cat into submission with Morton if it gets out of hand.
Oh no.
Oh goody. I'm not gonna say what I was gonna say and just move on.
I'm quiet, G. Get your mind out together. I'm surprised Nox says anything about these names.
I'm like half awake right now.
That's okay. We're probably gonna be calling it here in a couple minutes or 15.
These are some solid puns, though.
Are Hero Sith.
I am dumb. Oh hell. Let's just do this. So they have the hostile border around them, but they are not hostile. Please do not shoot my annoying NPC.
Oh, that's not the
Otherwise-
NPC you should be worried about.
Did someone step away?
I'm back.
I'm back now as well.
So as the Sarlacc tier is landing at the starport, there's a shuttle that comes alongside, and as the Lieutenant Kara is asking permission to lower the ramp of drag because she can actually hear sort of what's going on in the situation room. She sure as hell's not going to be stepping on that landmine. Oh, is this the bot? Okay. Captain Drogledib, seems that the governor is here to have his chat with us face to face. May I lower the landing ramp?
Sure. Is there anything else I should be aware of?
Well, his men are not heavily armed, just regular escort duty, so they're not here expecting a fight.
You
They
know,
do-
not everyone who's not us is hostile.
They do
mean-
seem to be walking quite briskly towards us, sir.
Must be important. Oh, open up the door.
Okay. Get the gunners out of the way because they shooty bang bang. And if the rest of you would like to be on the welcoming committee,
Death metal and Mr. Daggers might be.
Yes. Prepare the attack cat.
You,
I mean, he is twice as big as a normal Monka by this point.
you dare board our ship without our cat's permission?
So you have chosen death.
So Jethor,
Mega
Mordon,
Yeah, we can move on from music insanity. Jethor will approach behind.
More long truck his knuckles and walk on up to.
Jethor turns to him. I don't believe we are here to start a fight.
man. This just feels good.
What is that?
You see
A
Jethor
smoothie?
like bring his hands together. He's like, does the same thing, and mine are not popping.
It does feel good.
You're right. I should do that more often.
Oh my
It's
goodness.
stress relieving.
Very.
So the ramp is down, and then the inner airlock is opened. The familiar sight of Zavala Zul Zorander, who is rather red in the face and puffed up lips and cheek, and his bushy beard is askew. He seems to have been woken up at a very late hour. It is the evening, late evening on Suliana that you have arrived. And he storms over to Drag.
Where is Lady Session at this moment?
She is still up in the conference room.
Only she
On
knew
choice.
bind, she could just choke him. Not this guy.
Oh yeah,
No
Lieutenant
objections though.
Lieutenant Kara, not necessarily beknownst to everyone else, is going to politely knock on the door and attempt to gain the attention of the Lady Assassin ever so briefly.
Green already did status updates,
Yes.
so I guess it is her choice to be as she is right now.
Okay. The governor storms over to Drag and says, "What is the meaning of this?" And he has some papers, plastoid papers that he's shoving at Drag to look. And it's reports of fires, it's report of collateral damage from turbo laser barrage on the surface of Denebia, uh, bodies, and also names unaccounted for from the nearby city center, as well as some ranches, estimated totals of damage.
Dragon's just gonna take a moment to process this all in, trying to figure out what the just happened.
I told you to break the blockade and save the people if there weren't any. I didn't say go in with your big ship and blast it all to hell.
Kind of takes a look at it.
He hands it over, gritting his teeth.
Yeah, he's still taking a look at the information. Inside Drag's mind, he's thinking, "Yeah, I know what the problem is. I should... oh, I know who the problem person is." And just I'm gonna try and calm Sasson.
Mm-hmm. She answers.
How do I put this?
Friendly fire?
We have an incident in our hands. Are you aware of this incident involving?
So as you're saying that, she's actually rounding the corner, and
20 turbo lasers, 500 civilians.
troopers are moving out of the way. The lieutenant, who is a Sith officer, for those
Mm-hmm.
as a reminder, is trailing behind. Yes, I am aware. And is that the governor?
Yes, it is.
Sergeant Ian, if you'd be so kind as to... Nox might have fallen asleep. Oh no.
Sorry, I'm here.
Assassin's just asking you to move out of the way.
Well, get the suck.
God damn it, guys.
In fact, I back up a little more than just out of the way.
Zavala looks over at the Sith and still has not learned his lesson about trying to throw his weight around them, and is shaking his finger at her. This is an outrage, and only for the deal that we have made before for you to keep the rest of my sector safe. This can be overlooked, but there must be repercussions. And she responds, I am taking measures to remedy the issue. Controlled, measured, even Grace becoming her station. There's even a little bit of an air about Sasson that feels different to the rest of you. She's been a leader in a leader role before, yes, but it seems ever so slightly larger. Like there's a bit more of a presence swirling around her. A grim realization, one might say. Even Governor Zorander is a little bit taken aback, but then tries to set the steel back in his jaw. Were there any prisoners that you took, or did you kill all of them too?
No. Fortunately, we still have prisoners. What do you want to do with them?
The captain and 7 other prisoners.
Yeah, I'll relay the information that we've captured the captain and several enlisted crew under him.
I don't know. I might perhaps throw them into the prisons, but it's not that we're at capacity. Do they have anything to do with that little problem of yours?
Fortunately, quite so. They effectively contractors for the ghost ship.
Oh. Do they sublet for other individuals? Well, I'm sorry. No, that's not the proper question at the moment. I can rely on you
They
still, yes?
Yes, and those prisoners only worked for the ghost ship.
Oh, a pity. Good help is so difficult to. Governor? Lady Assassin cuts him off. It has been a long day. Is there any other business that you would have with us? He's silent and mid word, and he's. I only wanted to make sure you knew how cross and what an inconvenience this has done for me. And this small little breach of trust. I hope that you would inform me of whatever disciplinary measures you take against you and your people for this misstep. And with a huff, he turns around, his cape of office swirling. He and his walk back out into the night and into their shuttle.
You see Jethor's detense a little bit. Those standing next to him definitely noticed him getting more and more tense through this whole difficult Tongue lashing.
Gree, I'm assuming that you might have been watching, or you
Absolutely.
knee deep. Okay.
The answer is always yes.
More
She
often than not,
knows.
but absolutely on this. Like,
She knows
they're
when
about to be
you are
confronted about
sleeping.
civilian murder. Might be worth my attention a bit.
She knows when you've been sleeping. She knows when you've been snooping.
Can I have a quick aside with Assassin before the night's out?
Sure.
Lady Assassin, if I could aside for a moment. Try and gesture to a place where they're far away from people so they can have a private conversation.
Do you like some recaf? I hear that does wonders.
She would nod and probably say, "Back to the conference room."
Yep. We'll keep quiet until the conference room is up there. As
Gree
soon as the
actually said that this room was breached during my conversation with the good Commander Pern, as he informed me of the unfortunate circumstances which that the governor has relayed to us this night.
you're being unusually polite about Pern. My take is that he's an insubordinate sack of Sith spit for doing that. Being a little too aggressive.
Her face and her body language is calm. Her eyes, however, malevolence. It's not indignation. It's definitely. There are words that she would be using, however, she is too refined and ladylike to utter her true feelings, least of which to a Republic officer.
Sith spit may be taking it a bit too far, but I still think insubordinate would be the right term for it.
She does smirk at that slightly,
So,
fraction of a second. In this we are agreed. I fear that I fear, I fear that I am going to have to take things into my own hands for the near future, as far as the glaive is concerned.
if you ask me, I think the Pern question should be settled permanently. But I will trust in your judgment on what is appropriate punishment for the insubordination.
Well,
I know
that
if a public person did it, well, under normal circumstances, he would be discharged with dishonor at best.
I'll be doing my own investigation into the matter, and, well, how did they say it among the enlisted? I'll keep you posted.
As hard it is for me to want to intervene, I hate to agree with you that it'd be the best that you keep me posted. If Pern does that again, well,
You won't.
counting on you for it. As Drag exits the conference room. I guess Pern lives another day.
Sass is calm, and she calms over to Gree coordinate a shuttle, coordinate a transport for me to go to the glaive in the morning.
Certainly. What time would be suitable for you?
I don't know. Perhaps after breakfast. I don't necessarily want to go into battle without something. A turn of the.
Understandable. Range it for half an hour after breakfast, my lady.
Thank you, Lieutenant Commander.
Thank you, Lady Session.
Click. And to end the night on a good note, certain someone's business senses begins tingling.
But
Right
you're about to
as
announce that Mr. Dagger's killed Pern.
a certain someone's business senses are tingling just as he's pulling a bunch of crap out of his giant, useful pile of crap. I smell credits!
Oh, I love.
Alpha mean. The mega cat or more alpha band.
Woohoo!
And
Whoa.
that is the end for tonight, folks.
Mega Death Star cats coming for Mouse.
Aren't you banned from the store?
He's about to become Dead Mouse.
Well done. Well
So
done.
with that, I'm gonna go to bed. Good night.
Yep.
Good night,
See
sir.
ya.
See you
Good
guys
night.
Good night.
tomorrow.
See you tomorrow.